welcome to the next instalment of Urban Bait TV. This week I'm in Essex, in Chelmsford, at a nice club lake called Channels. Now some of you may know it. Lovely lake, beautiful, beautiful looking fish, some real stunners. And I'm with Peter Hudd, urban consultant, and he's been targeting this water all spring and summer, really, haven't you?
Early year, so through last winter as well.
We got down yesterday afternoon. We got on the back of the wind. Peter, sort of, as he knows it, I don't know the lake, so he says, "Oh, get on the back of the wind." The fish have been in this area, and it was just nice to get the rods out as well. Luckily enough, I caught a nice common, nice, about 21, 22 pounds, something like that.
Really clean
nice
fish.
Clean fish. They're all clean fish in here, and Peter's had some absolute gems out of it. You know, some real nice commons. Real nice mirrors with nice scales and all that sort of stuff.
Unique.
What's the biggest common in here?
Biggest common had springtime, which is before they spawned, £39. That's the lake record, £39. Again, that's like a horse, big long fish. You know what I mean?
I saw a picture
really
of that.
dark, really dark.
The thing I noticed about the pictures that you've been sending all summer and spring and that is that they're all different. They're not all the same sort of strain. They're just all real unique.
When you go to certain lakes, the commons, you do get a bit bored of if they're the same shape, same size, same everything gets a bit like a conveyor belt with the same fish. But every fish you have in here is, like I said, different. One's dark, one's long, one's stumpy, one's round, one's grey,
they're really nice.
The bluey colours as well. Do you know what I mean?
So they are. As you say, some are dark, some are light, some are long. They're real nice fish. So how have you approached, since last winter? How do you go about your fishing on there? What's been your plan of attack?
Well, I had a friend who fished here. I come on a guest three years ago, and started fishing here, and it was a lot easier back then. We come down here and we had big hit of fish over big beds of bait. That's what would work, big beds of boardage. People come over and there's a lot of bream in here, so you have to sort of compensate for them. There's no point sticking half a key of bait out, because sometimes by the time the carp finds your bait, you're fishing singles are in effect. So we just started introducing the bait in here, and that's all it's been. Just find the fish. If you can find them in here, they're not shy. If you can find them.
No, we saw a few shows last night, didn't we?
It's late. It's the graveyard shift as well. It's late at night. People go to bed and we'll start seeing them. We've seen them move, like even this week, we've seen them move from midnight till 3 in the morning, move down this road bank and end up where we are now. And you can tell the bite times. People go, 1 o'clock bite time. That's because they are. And you can see them
moving down the lake or in the bay or whatever.
And people don't see that.
So when you came on it, were a lot of people just using no bait, just little bits of pieces?
A lot of people
you'd go
over the top. It's just different. A lot of people was on here using just quite routine, turning up the same swims, putting the same amount of bait out on the same spot, and just rotating them areas. I've tried to move away from them, try getting areas going, but when I start a new lake, I like to introduce the bait, and it don't go in one spot, it goes everywhere. I want them going around the lake and just seeing it. It's a natural food source basically to them. In areas I'm not fishing.
And was that because I know you're like me, in the warmer months, I mean everyone talks about the nutcracker and how good it is. It is absolute brilliant bait. But I like the red spicy fish. I really do. I know you like it as well.
I was using the reds, but again I've just come over to like the milky protein.
It's getting colder.
Yeah, that's the thing, to change, just to drop it down, because I started introducing the bait in the winter. In the winter, the one just gone, and I just stepped it up through the year, and I couldn't change because I was catching so many fish. There was no need to come onto like the red. Like I said, I've done really well on the redfish and the tuna and garlic during the summer months, but it didn't need the change wasn't needed here, and the fish just got on it and they've just stayed on it, and I'll carry on going throughout the winter now. I won't change.
And have you? I mean, you were saying that you think that where you're using so much bait and quality bait, that the fish are actually putting on lots of weight.
Yeah, the weight gains. I've come from like I said, I fished a park lake before here, and the weight gains is just incredible. Everywhere I'm taking the bait, if you can establish it, and the fish are like every time you get one out, if you put in the recovery sling for half hour, you get them out, and they're crapping the bait out everywhere. Little bits of tigers.
Did it take long to? Did it take long for them to start getting on the bait? Was it instant, or did it take a while for them to sort of get used to a lot of bait going in? It
was fairly, because like I said, they are quite hungry in here. When they do get on it, they get on it. So it was quite instant, but now the bites are it's become so regular now, do you know what I mean? Over everyone else, it's just a natural food source.
And did you find any sort of size was better, 18s or 14s? Was you mixing them?
I've been mixing them up. I've been using 12s. I've had 22s. I've had 18s. I've had 14s. It's
just give them a little bit more to think about.
That's exactly
just the same. Baits.
I do like to mix my baits up. So like you say, I think it keeps them thinking. It's different size food articles. They're in different weights. They're feeding. They're not going to get used to picking up. Say a 14 miller, they know how to pick it up. If you've got an 8, they've got to suck it up. You're just mixing the mixing it all up.
And now, I mean, we were talking about rigs last night, and what I noticed, sort of, it's called a PopDown rig.
Yeah.
Which now, did you sort of start fishing that sort of straight? We'll have a look at it in a minute. We'll have a look at this rig. Did you start fishing it straight away like that, or was you just fishing bottom baits or pop up? Or?
When I started fishing like these, say the spring assault in about March, just as we come out of the winter time, it was all stiff hinge rigs, always scattering the bait and stiff hinge.
Up off the bottom, off the chard or
That's
whatever.
it, exactly that. Because we're quite close to a road, I think when the leaves go in, it's quite, the pH level might change in the bottom. There's a few lakes of fishing near roads, and you notice they don't feed on the bottoms much. That's why zigs and that. They don't want to get involved in it. But I've changed over as spring come. They started drying out the bites. It was getting smaller fish, and it couldn't work. Like with none of the bigger fish coming out.
Still using the sort of
stiff hinge, the stiff hinge, and literally, I've done like a week before. I knew that was going to spawn, so I knew that was the time to put it hard. Before they spawn, they're going to be feeding. They're going to be at peak weight. They're going to be looking at their best. And I've done like 7 nights in a row, going to work, packing up, going to work, and every night I literally fished around the whole lake, but I built up a different scenario. I could see where I was going. It all just come together at the end, and that's when I had the big hit of the big fish, and then like a brace of 30s, and then the pretty one. But I dropped the first night of that session. I dropped one rod down to the PopDown, thinking they're going to be, the springs come through, the weeds push through, they're going to be get the blood, everything's becoming more active, and that's when I started getting it. I had one bite the first night on that rig, and the next night I changed all three. I went all out, and that's it, and then started getting more.
So how did you? I mean, just show us the rig, and we'll show everyone. It's quite an interesting rig, really.
It's just nothing. It's all just like I said to you. It evolved from when I was fishing, obviously like a few years ago, fishing for the crays. It's just been adapted because I like to change the like you can change the colour of the hook bait. It's basically just like I say.
I mean, that's something you don't. I mean, that's not a pop up. That's on the bottom.
That's on the bottom. Yeah.
So it's like fishing a fluoro pop up.
A fluoro on the bottom. Exactly that. Yeah.
Which is like an edge really.
People
just don't do it, do they?
You don't really see that. And sometimes I've been using the white ones, and I thought I'll try a pink one over the bait, because the bait washed out, nutcracker washed out, it's quite pale. Yeah. So I've changed to a pink one. There's a visual thing, and I've nicked bites really quick on that. So you can
just a little bit different, throwing them off guard sort of thing, you know.
And pop up's always a bit more overpowering, do you know what I mean? A bit more smelly, aren't they? A bit more, and the hole just smell a bit more, and they're just a bit more duck proof as well. They're not soft like the hard.
So you said that sort of rig sort of come about when you was fishing waters that got a lot of crays in it.
Yeah.
So and what's the thinking behind that? I mean, talk us through exactly what it is, because we've got a 15mm pop up there.
It basically, when I was fishing with the crayfish on my park lake, we couldn't get round them. They was doing their heads in there, nicking all the bait. So I had some cork dust pop ups, the same like the cork dust pop ups, and we dried them out. We was catching them, we was drilling them out, and we leaving them on the side for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and they was going like marbles. Yeah. You'd have to drill them out, a little hole with a little boilie punch, drill a hole out before, and you leave them on the side. Then we'd rehydrate them in the glove, but they'd stay hard. They'd take a little bit of smell on, but you could put that on there, and it turned it into a slow sinker. So you fish on the bottom with an overpowered bait. The crazy you could leave that.
That looks. A little liner there. We've still got the rod tag. So I thought he was away there. We've all got a bit excited. But let's get back to the rig. But it's you've got a BB shot in it.
That's it.
So you core it out. Normal pop up.
It's as you do your hair rig first of all. You do a tiny loop because you need the split shot right down by the loop, so it's not protruding out the bait. I like it all tucked away, so it's tidy. Do you know what I mean? So you can't. It's all flush. You wouldn't notice if anyone you held up. It just looked like a normal pop up on a hair rig. People think what you're doing.
Very, very sneaky.
Yeah, you can't.
People don't know what you're doing. But with that, I see that. So you just core it out enough so that you can push it in there. You
pull the bait into it,
and you pull the bait. You pull the hair into it, and then put. Yeah,
and the way that sinks down, the split shot will be at the bottom underneath it. Nothing can be seen. It's all tidy. Do you know what I mean? It sinks down like that. And you've taken the weight out. When that sucks it up, it's so buoyant. It's like it acts like a natural bait. Do you know what I mean? It's not. And you can, like I say, you can over.
That's like could be a real good edge, because nobody fishes fluoro bottom baits, do they?
Because we used to punch baits there, didn't we? Back and then put foam in them, like
tigers
that's
and things
it.
Like that.
So that's slow sinking, but it's the other way round.
But not a pop up though, you know, because you want to pop. You think the pop up's going to pop up,
exactly.
When this is actually sitting on the bottom, and you think that, because I can feel that it's quite heavy. Yeah. Do you think the weight of that is sort of like looking at the mechanics of it,
that turns. Once that goes in,
it turns and pulls it right in.
It's a light bait to suck in, but yeah, when it spits it out, the split shot definitely helps the weight.
What's the hook hold's been like on there?
Nailed,
really
deep
really
as
good.
well. Yeah, nailed, but
like
always
inches back.
And some of them double. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're powerful.
Really?
Which is where you got the liner as well.
You got a little liner which kicks it over. And what sort of hook link materials do you use? I mean, is it stiff or? I mean, this is like a stripped back sort of
jelly wire
hook link.
Oh yeah,
jelly wire. Yeah.
That's I always use. I like using a coated braid. So I like a little bit of flexibility at the end, just for in the mouth movement. Do you know what I mean? More than anything. So when it's in its mouth, but I've used them stiff, straight through.
So that sort of sit over anything as well. It's quite supple.
That's exactly it.
So you're saying you do tie up with a stiff.
Yeah, that's when I fish for crays. You can't, when you're fishing with crays, you can't use it like that with a naked coated braid, because they will just tangle it up all day long.
Yeah.
That's what I said you need. I was using 15, 20 pound IQ amnesia, saying like it's a stiff boom all the way through. But then I'd whip a braid hair on, so you got the movement of the hair. I don't like a stiff hair personally. I like the movement of the hair so you can wash about. But then it was cray proof. The rig would always reset itself. Cray can pick it up and it'll ping back. It can't tangle.
So I mean, you're saying that you was fishing a lake with that, and it was noticeable that you was getting more bites than anyone else, because you think that they was just tangling up the rig and doing it, and this was just resetting itself.
Every minute I was there fishing, it was effective. People they'd cast the baits out, get a few beeps at night, and I'd wind in with no baits. You think, how long was you fishing for without?
They're crazy. They're bang on everything straight away, aren't they? And what's the biggest fish you've caught on this?
That's the biggest fish I've had is 50. Well, UK is 51.
51 pounds. So I mean, it's had a small fish rig. This is, this is a proper big fish rig.
It does. It's just different. I think it is a little. It feels like a bit sneaky. They're not.
Different. I haven't seen anything. I mean, some people use like a KD rig, sort of similar to that. But this is totally different, because you're using a wide gape hook, and you've got a kicker on it, and it turns it into a bit of a... it moves on your hand, it's straight
it can't do anything but turn into its mouth. It nails and the hook holds, like I say, are really good. I normally using quite shorter hook lengths, like only 7 or 8 inches, and I like, if I'm on a clean bottom, I like using an inline. I know an inline lead, because
so it bangs in,
them diamond shaped ones, as soon as it picks up, they go down, they upright, and bang, lead's there. It's the weight of it turns straight away.
So what, talking about the bait and things like that, I presume you're going to stay on here for the winter as well.
Yeah, I will see that.
How's your fishing going to change with quantities of bait, sizes of bait? Are you going to put a bit of particle in there or not? Or
with the particle, where there's a lot of bream in here, I've learned by my mistakes having 15 bream in a night. It's just you can't. It's
murders.
You can. People have turned up, put some particle, and they'll have carp, but it doesn't justify doing it, but having the bream to catch the carp, we don't need to do that. So
I suppose it's a bit like, if it's not broke, don't change it. So you're
exactly
just carry on fishing exactly the same way.
I'll put less bait in as the winter comes through, but at the moment it's getting quite cold now, but I'm not going to change, because that's still really, like you see, they're still really active out here. They're still, so if they're moving, they're feeding. Do you know what I mean? So there's no point in stopping. And like a lot of people started to use the bait on this. It's gaining from other people as well, which is helping me now in theory, because if I'm not here, if I've gone away, it's still gaining.
All winter, doesn't it?
All different areas. People fish their own little areas. People go around, but it's all going around the whole lake, and it's a natural food source to them. Okay,
well that's great. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. Thanks for catching up with us today and telling us about this nice rig. And what we'll do is we'll come back in a little bit further in the winter, and you can actually tie one of these up for us, and we can have a look. So I'm sure people will be interested to see how it works and that. And we'll see. We'll meet up and maybe have another guest.
Yeah, definitely.
And see how you get in.
We're going to put that through. Yeah, we're going to put it through its paces.
Yeah, we're going to put this through its paces. So thanks for meeting up with us, and we'll catch up with you guys, and I hope this was informative how Peter goes about his fishing, and we'll see you soon.
See you soon. Common from Channels. Last chance saloon, just packed up, just about to go and take the stuff to the car park. The rods are obviously last thing out, and this fish decided it wanted to come say hello. Literally last thing, the rods were last thing out. But just the proof that the PopDown rig, it works. They love it. Cast this to some showing fish this morning. Scattered a little bit of bait over it as they're fizzing up, so they put a little bait just to keep them in the mix. And yeah, she decided she wanted to come play ball. Puck away to end the session. Lovely fish.
What you call it? Urban.